patience. We'll go questions in the room first for Coach Leach. Go ahead and get us started, Theo.
Could you get a good sense of the excitement around Pullman on Saturday? I don't know if you spent any time around town or just going through the aftermath of that win.
Not really around 10, you know, it's really cool out there on the field, which, a ton of people, and then, you know, traffic, you need to tell everybody's excited, honking horns and stuff like that, and then I had a bunch of people in town that kind of randomly before the season decided this was a game they were gonna come visit, so, you know, it's just pretty much at the house spending time with them, so we had a whole bunch of folks there, including, you know, Andy, a guy that coached in England that, you know, took me over there one time, he brought his two sons over, so it was all pretty random that it happened to be this game, and all of a sudden, boom, it's game day, so it was pretty good.
When you kind of watched film of that third quarter, could you get a better sense of what happened offensively, defensively, why both units kind of regressed?
Well, I think a couple things. I don't think our tempo was the same as it was the first half. I think that the ball didn't necessarily bounce our way. And then, you know, we had to outlast it. And it was, as long as a streak of just real powerful play as the first half was, the third quarter I thought was kind of long too. And then you just kind of fight through it, just keep doing your job, which we did. And then I think we won the fourth quarter, so.
Do you have any sort of relationship with Coach David Shaw?
I know him just from meetings, you know, he's a nice guy, you know, nice guy, and, always on a Nike trip with him, but, you know, seems like a good guy, does a good job.
Why do you think he's been so successful over the years at Stanford?
Well, they were pretty good when he got there, you know, and I think he's done a pretty good job, keeping that wheel spinning, you know.
Right now, you guys are leading the Pac-12 in sacks. What can you say about the job that Tracy and the defense have done on getting pressure on the quarterback?
I think Tracy and Jeff Phelps, our defensive line coach, I think they've done a good job, do a really good job coaching technique. Have some little wrinkles from one week to the next that I think have proven to be pretty challenging. And then our players play really hard, and I think that's been key too.
Is getting pressure on the quarterback, is that kind of one of the common denominators of derailing any kind of offense, you'd say?
I think that's the most important thing a defense does. I think, there might be something else I'd have to think about, but I think the most important thing a defense does is affect the quarterback, somehow find a way to affect the quarterback. You have to affect the quarterback. I mean, there's a difference between sacking him and affecting him, but you have to at least affect him. And, you know, so I think that's very important.
You talk about keeping the outside noise outside the team after a big win on game day. How do you plan on keeping doing that throughout the rest of the season?
Really reinforce it, and, you know, hopefully we're disciplined enough to do it, we'll see, you know.
We had a chance to read the Yahoo story that kind of disclosed a few text messages that you had sent to Larry Scott and different officials in the Pac-12.
Yeah, I read the story, I can't comment on it though, you know.
If you were kind of running the review process, the replay process, how would you kind of go about it, and then would you make any changes, or it was kind of up to you?
You're gonna have to write that one yourself, you know. Yeah.
What part of Stanford's team are you most impressed with?
Well, you know, their defensive front's always, been the toughest part, and I'm kind of curious, we'll see how they are this year, and then, but they have some new faces. But overall, just defensively, and, their front, I think, and then offensively, I think, traditionally their O-line's pretty good. Now Stanford's kind of changed their style of play, they're throwing it a bunch now. You know, they used to always be grind, play action, and now they're throwing it quite a bit, so, it's a little different dimension. It's offensively, it's a different Stanford team than we play. Defensively, it's, you know, it's almost like spark plugs. They pulled out old ones, put in new ones, really, you know.
On Saturday, I noticed some upperclassmen scout team guys got to suit up for the game. Is that sort of your way of rewarding them for hard work and practice?
I'm not sure who you're referring to, we basically, cause we're only allowed 70, and then, so basically it's the guys you're gonna play with, and then we'll have some scout team player of the week guys. If you're scout team player of the week, then, we dress you,
How valuable is it to you to retain, committed, hardworking guys on scout team?
Well, I think it's real important, that's where Taylor Comfort came from, Taylor Comfort's having a great year. Parker Henry had a couple of great years, those guys are kind of byproducts of that, so I think it extends your resources as well as you get, good looks on the scout team.
One of the things that kind of slid under the radar with that one is that you guys are bowl eligible now. I mean, obviously you have bigger bowls than just being bowl eligible, but what do you think it says about this team that they were able to do it in 7 games?
I think we played real hard, we played together, and I think we've gotten up for each game. We haven't been perfect, we have to get better each week, but I do think as a unit, we've been, committed to doing that. I think we wanna get better at it and do it faster, and that's always kind of the battle, and it definitely will be this week. But, part of it is we have a very coachable team. This is one of the more coachable teams that I've ever been a part of, and, just the simple, everybody's on the same page, everybody's pulling the same direction. I think some of that comes with coaching. I think, we've got some really good coaches that, all, complement the efforts of each other and pull the same direction. I think we got players that way too, and I think, it's refreshing to go to work every day and all of a sudden you say something once and typically it starts taking shape.
There's been a lot of teams that have quote unquote been in control of the Pac-12 North this year, and now it's kind of your guys' turn. Do you think that is gonna be able to help you not fall under the other pitfalls that, other teams like Stanford, Oregon, and Washington have?
It's difficult to say, cause everybody we have left is a really tough team. Everybody that we have left has beat somebody, and everybody that we have left, hell, most of them have been ranked at some point, for what that's worth. So, yeah, they're all good, and they all, get in, they're all gonna try.
You talked about them being tough teams. I think right now the Pac-12 North is the only division in the country that has 4 ranked teams in its division. Why do you think there's not more made about how good this division is in particular?
I don't think about it very much. I don't know. I don't know. I think part of it is one thing that maybe helps or that the media jumps on, and is somewhat understandable. In some conferences, you have some clear-cut front runners, some clear-cut team to beat. This is clear-cut the team to beat, has been over the years. Like you have an Alabama or an LSU or somebody, and then, you got Clemson, and then some of those guys, and, our conference really doesn't have that. So it's not like you got this, so much the comparison as the team to beat, and everybody's, wrapped up together, and it's kind of a slugfest. And I've said this for a long time. If you had a tournament with the bottom of our conference, with the bottom of anybody else's conference, we'd crush the bottom of theirs, And what makes that difficult and what makes that imposing is, there's some games throughout the year in the other conferences where, you're not as threatened, you're not in as great a jeopardy as we are in this conference. In this conference, they can all get you,
Stanford's allowed quite a few passing yards per game, but only 7 passing touchdowns. But what kind of changes when teams get into the red zone against them? Why are they so effective at kind of preventing passing touchdowns?
No, they're just big. They're big and strong and aggressive like they've always been. I'm not sure entirely. Utah kind of had an inclination to run it